Shalom, and thank you for watching this video from HaDerekh Synagogue. I hope you are liking the content we are bringing you. If you could like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, that will greatly help us. And to further help bring great content to you from our teachers, if you could please consider to donate to HaDerekh Synagogue. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for watching.
Okay, Parsha Nitzavim. Not with you alone did I make this covenant and this oath, but with whomever stands here with us this day before Hashem, our God, and also with whoever is not here with us today. Ibn Ezra, he sees two possibilities. He says, Devarim 29:14 either refers to future generations, to future unborn generations to be more clear, or it refers to those scattered elsewhere, like diaspora Jews, like us, for instance, alive but not physically present. Ramban sees a strong emphasis on the eternal binding nature of Torah, which the covenant obligates all generations. He further adds that not here means souls not yet created. And of course, I know, you can put souls in quotes. I get it. Okay, Sephorner brilliantly reads it as Israel entering a collective transgenerational identity. Not here are the children who will be born and must carry the covenant forward. For us, what that entails is continuing the interpretation of Torah to new conditions, innovations, and technologies. And that's what we've been doing for millennia. Midrash Tanchum at Nitzavim 3 and the Mekilta for Rabbi Ishmael adds little to Rashi or Ramban, but notably says Moshe is including even converts who would one day join Israel. They are attached to the covenant by aspiration. This opens the important theme of universal accessibility of Torah. Yeshua mentions this in John 17:20, referring to those from the nations in the future who will act upon our testimony. The Talmud in Shavuos 39a says all Israel are responsible for one another. The covenant includes those not present, implying collective responsibility. Moshe emphasizes that the covenant is with all of Israel, past, present, and future. Our actions fulfill or betray that covenant. The covenant ties us to ancestors and descendants. So what we do shapes the realities of both future and past generations. Solidarity across generations. Radical inclusivity. I got that from Rabbi John Fisher. The unity of Kol Israel throughout time indicates eternal responsibility, which in itself is an act of gratitude. We must recognize that our lives are bound up with one another and with Hashem's blessing. Moshe de Leon in the late 13th century CE wrote a commentary that he claims is based on the teachings of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. In his Midrashic commentary in Nitzavim, he says, those who are not here are all the souls in the guf, which is a heavenly treasury, waiting to descend into bodies. All these were present at Sinai and they returned to participate in this covenant renewal given in Parsha Nitzavim. Those who are not here with us today refers to every other Jewish soul ever. Those who stand here refers to those who are physically standing there. And if you go back to the Parsha, those who are not there are not called standing. And there's a reason for that. Because our future souls were present, they are bound by the same covenantal obligations. Even though we were yet unborn, the covenant applies. This is spiritual, ethical, and metaphysical inclusion across all generations, including the Gerim. This covenant reinforces unity because both past, present, and future Jews are one body in this covenant. And I've been kind of playing around with the idea, just between you and me. Does that also include the Gerim Toshavim? And I don't have an answer for that yet. But John chapter 17 kind of makes me think that perhaps that's probably true. Rashi says it binds all Jews forever. This is reminiscent to the humongous fungus analogy that makes the Jewish people the largest organism on earth because our connection is four-dimensional in nature. An important takeaway is that Absence doesn't remove responsibility or connection. You may or may not be at shul, or you may or may not be observant, but absence does not remove responsibility or connection. You're still part of the group. There's a quote from a young lady who died of typhus in 1945 in Bergen-Belsen. She says this: "Oh, it's sad, very sad, that the old adage has been confirmed for the umpteenth time. What one Christian does is his own responsibility, but what one Jew does reflects on all Jews." While Anne Frank saw this from a stereotypical lens, and she's correct to find it sad, there is a truth embedded she did not see. How I behave, how you behave, for bad or for good, affects us all because of this covenant that we have with Hashem. What we have learned so far is the timelessness of our covenant with Hashem. It transcends history, binds all Jews, whether born or yet unborn. It includes past and existing Gerim, including all future Gerim, making the covenant universally open. By specifying the unity of Israel, every nephesh that will ever be part of Israel was mystically present. By this inclusive nature, the covenant isn't an individual contract. It is a collective and eternal responsibility. At the end of the Parsha, we are told we are to choose life because the choice you make does not just affect your life or the shortness thereof. It affects the community's ability to live a life of abundance. Your obedience to Hashem allows us all to dwell in the land promised to our fathers. Yerushalmi, Kedushin 1:7. It gives drashas by two of the greatest Tanaim, Ishmael and Akiva. Rav Ishmael says that you may live refers to a trade or a craft, how to make a living. From this, the sages learned that a man is obligated to teach his son a trade or a craft. Rabbi Akiva says we learn that a man is required to teach his son how to swim or how to row. Now, at first blush, this is devastatingly disappointing, bordering on the ridiculous. Is this what Moshe Rabbeinu means when he calls heaven and earth to witness against us? Learning a trade or gaining proficiency in swimming? Really? The answer, according to Rabbi Norman Lam, of blessed memory, is indeed yes. Moshe had in mind to call heaven and earth to witness that the way of God, the way of Torah, is the way of life, which finds expression in the way a man makes a living and how he buys and sells and serves and swims. For the ancient and the medieval world knew of the monastic ideal according to which true life in its most exquisite spiritual essence can be lived, not in the hurly-burly daily prosaic routine, not in the rot and corruption and competition of the marketplace or attention to the material development of the world, but rather in renouncing the active world, in retreating to a place of peace in which one can realize the ideal of contemplation as opposed to action. These are not my words, by the way. And it continues. Real, full, authentic life could be achieved only by abandoning the vita activa in favor of the vita contemplativa, the life of contemplation. And it is against this concept of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Ishmael offer their interpretation of the biblical ideal. Life in its spiritual essence can be distilled only out of life in the making, in the marketplace, the office, the factory, and yes, the job site. Even the wood choppers and the water carriers are included in the covenant, the people we don't see unless we're cold or thirsty. Proving Torah is for everyone, from the guy who splits logs to the one who spills jugs. So does that make Judaism the faith of sips and chips? Yeah, pun intended. To live and to choose life can be realized not at the edge of the silent and brooding pond or in the musty halls of the yeshiva, but in the middle of the river, swimming with the tide or perhaps directly against it, but caught up in the currents of events. This is what Judaism understands as a blessing of life offered by Torah. Good Shabbos.